Finding quality connections during COVID. Hey, I was recently out shooting baskets with my daughter after work. I'd gotten home a little bit late, kind of after dinner, and she was out there shooting baskets, getting her kind of daily shot. She has a goal that she likes to get in from her team here over the summer. And so I grabbed the basketball and went down there and started shooting around with her, and it was great to see her and spend time with her and catch up. You know, as we're shooting baskets, I'm kind of getting caught up on her day. She's doing driver's training, doing summer workouts have started again, things like that, spending some time with friends. And so it's just great as we're shooting baskets just to get caught up and get talking. And I really love doing it that way versus, you know, sitting down face to face and tell me about your day. I never really liked that myself. And I just find I get more from my kids when I spend time with them like that, or driving together, shoulder to shoulder, is a great way to get caught up too. And it got me thinking about work and spending quality time and connections with our teams. And when I was in the field as a sales manager, part of the best part about traveling around and spending the day out in the field with sales reps was when we would stop for lunch. We'd go on calls in the morning, then we would break for lunch and go on calls again in the afternoon. And sometimes I know other sales managers would be like, hey, work through lunch, or we got to keep moving, or grab something quick. And I always like to make sure that we had at least an hour, maybe sometimes 90 minutes in between, so we could sit down over a meal and just talk and catch up. And what I found was when I would leave and come back, that was some of the most quality time I had. Yeah, the sales calls were important in driving business and doing all that, and we did that together, and that was great. But for the relationship and the connection and vision casting and catching up with them, seeing how they're doing, what's important to them, any obstacles they have, what's going on in personal lives and family lives to the degree they wanted to share, that was where the gold was at. Because if you surround yourself with the right people, you're going to get the work done. But if you really can connect with them, you know, professionally, and connect them in their heart, and they know you care about them, and you take an interest in them, you spend time with them. This stuff can't be rushed. You got to spend time with them. What I saw is just drives that connection, and then the performance all comes flying after that. Great performance all comes after that. And so it's got me thinking during COVID. One of the things that I'm observing is, Zoom calls. I'm talking with more people. Our team is communicating better than we ever have. I'm hearing that from our leaders. I'm hearing that from other CEOs. It's like the amount of communication is fantastic. So that's all super positive through Zoom. What I am noticing, though, is just sort of that lack of, because we can't get together as much or do as much, that lack of connection a little bit. Like when we start our Zoom calls, even as an executive team, when we would all gather in a conference room together, there was a lot of catch up and talking, and we got in there early and laughing and joking and catching up on the weekend or the night before or whatever's going on. And with Zoom calls, trying to recreate that a little bit. Hey, how did everything go this weekend? What's going on? It's harder. It just is harder. It's kind of pumped. We're kind of used to logging in and like get right to it. And just over Zoom, you just don't have that same type of connection. So I'm just trying to figure out, what does that look like going forward now as things are starting to open up and people can get together more. I think it's important that we remember to spend some time together and to collaborate. I'm not saying nobody can work from home, and I mean, there's going to be a lot of shifts to the workplace, and we're working on that too. But I think when we are together, what are we doing? I think that's a key question, that when we are together, we just run the same old meeting that you could have over Zoom. Zoom is great for communicating business and having meetings and getting stuff done. I think we need to be really intentional about when we do get together. How often do we get together? And when we are together, what do we talk about? Where do we spend our time? I think if we spend it on a normal meeting that you could do over Zoom, I think we're wasting that time and that opportunity. I think we need to be really intentional about how do we build relationships, connections, which builds trust. And when you have trust, it makes all your other business meetings go great, and it makes Zoom calls go better when you all have that trust. And so something that we're working on, something I'm thinking a lot about, and would love to hear any of your ideas or best practices in this areas. There's a lot to figure out going forward. I think there's going to be some really good stuff coming out of this. There'll be challenges, but with every challenge is, of course, opportunity to learn and to share. So love to hear your feedback on that. As always, stay safe and stay healthy.